Okay, today we're going to do 6-7% and equations. So last section was proportions and percents. This is the same thing, it's just that you have to set them up as equations. So before it was proportions and now it's equations. You're solving for the same thing. I'm just trying to show you two different ways to do it. Okay, so you have to do it this way on this section. Okay, on the test, I'll tell you which ways to do it. Okay, you have to be able to do it both ways. So it's the same thing. You're still solving for the same thing, except for setting up, you're not setting up for a proportion, you're setting up an equation. Okay, so here's a little chart like we had before. To find the percent, it might say what percent of 40 is 56. And to write that equation out, that would be n, or whatever variable you want, times 40 equals 60. Okay, so the important thing here is to know of is times, and is equals. Oh, you can probably hear my daughter crying. And then variable is the unknown. It's normally going to be the what, but it might not always say that, okay? And then also on these, where before when you put it in a proportion, you didn't have to move your decimal. Here, whenever you're dealing with a percent, you have to move the decimal, either at the beginning, which I'll show you, either at the beginning or the end. So like for this one, when you find the percent, you then have to move your decimal. Here, what is 15% of 40? So the is equals, the of is multiplication. But you see how we changed 15% to 0.15. Okay, it's very important. Here we changed this 15% to 0.15. 6 is the equal sign, 15% of what number? So you're trying to find the whole right there. Okay? So let's do a few examples. What is 85% of 62? So let's use n. You can use whatever variable you want. What is equals 85%. You have to move your decimal. You have to make it into a decimal. We did not have to do that before because we put it over 100, and that solves that problem. So here, then you just solve your equation. It's just 0.85 times 62. So n equals, let me find my example, 52.7. Okay, and you're done. Here we're looking for the percent. So this, you're up here, you were looking for the part. This one, you're looking for the percent. So this is n. What percent of 48 is 54? Remember, is your equal sign. So now we have an equation. Normally it looks like this, 48n equals 54. How do we solve for n? Okay, we're going to divide by 48. Okay, this is just over here, it's just being rewritten. It's the same thing. So n equals 54 divided by 48 is 1.125. Okay, but we're looking for the percent. Okay, so when you look at this, it says what percent of 48 is 54. So your percent should be over 100. Okay, because it's saying that 48 is actually the whole. What is, excuse me, what percent of 48 is 54? So then we move our decimal over 2 places. It's 112.5%. So you have to know what you're being asked. So slow down and do it correctly. Okay, you have to write the equation and then solve it. So 380 is... Now here, when you're given the percent, remember you have to change it to a decimal. So 1.25 of what number? So of is the multiplication. So again, since we're being multiplied here, we divide by 1.25. So 380 divided by 1.25, and yes, you can use your calculator, and you should get 304 equals n. Okay, So the key here is to move your decimal when you're dealing with percent. Okay, and to know that of is multiplication and is equals. Okay, so there's just two more problems. A real estate agent makes 4.5% commission on property she sells. How much commission does she make on the sale of a house costing $132,500? So commission, if you're not sure what commission is if you sell a house, you don't just get all that money, but they pay you a portion of it, a percentage of it. Okay, as for you, it's like, congratulations for selling a house. This is how much you get. Okay, so, whoops, I gotta plug my computer in. So here, when we write this, a real estate makes, so her commission equals, so we got to change this into a decimal, 0.05% of what she makes. Okay, it's 0.05 of the house. So you really got to, sometimes you got to think about it, because there's not really, there is the of right there if you look for it. Okay, but there's really not an is. So you really got to think about how you need to do this. So then this one you would just multiply 0.045 times 132,500. Your answer is going to be, you're dealing with money, $5,962.50. So she sells a house for that much. She's going to get almost $6,000. Okay. The next one, in a survey, 922 people, which was about 68.6%, preferred smooth peanut butter to chunky. How many people were surveyed? So what this is saying is 922 is 68.6% of what number? Okay, that's what it's saying. So you have to figure that out. Okay, by reading it. 922, you're looking for the whole. Or you can say, I'm looking for the whole, and so you go back to your chart and do something that looks like your chart. Okay, so to solve it, we take 922 is, so that's equals, move over the decimal, 0.686 of what number? Divide by 0.686, divide by 0.686, n equals, and it's about 344 people. Now, what you need to do on these is, does this make sense? Okay, well, 922 prefer peanut butter. We're looking to see how many people were surveyed total, so it makes sense that 1,344 people were surveyed. It at least makes sense. Okay, and I think I have a little comic. Okay, that's it. Whoops.